Joining us now, how about some good news? Can you handle some good news, as we say in my house? Dr. Karen DeCocker is here, and PTSD now. It's just received the Veterans Cash Scratch-Off Lottery grant that's desperately needed for the ganglion block treatment. And Dr. DeCocker, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share the news on how we can provide treatment to veterans in the Chicagoland area.
Tell us what the ganglion block is. And again, I want to give credit to my friend Mark Doyle, who's been talking about this for years.
So the stellate ganglion block, or the SGB, has been a long-term procedure, honestly performed since the 1940s. Our medical director, Dr. Eugene Lipoff, spent many years pioneering and really refining the technique that provides, with two small injections into the stellate ganglion nerves, we can provide relief from that constant fight or flight that people are oftentimes stuck in, especially after sustaining long-term trauma and being exposed to things over and over again. Oftentimes the body that is designed to protect us kind of gets stuck in the on mode, and by just anesthetizing them for a brief period of time, we're able to set them back to the regular pace or the normal functioning that they're supposed to be in.
So what's cool about this, because of this medicine that you have that can help, NPTSD Now was a recipient of the Veterans Scratch-Off Lottery Ticket Grant, and that allows you to have this ganglion blocker for 30 veterans. How did you apply for this grant? And when you found out you received it, I mean, that's exciting news.
Yeah, so Erase PTSD Now has, for several years, this is a very, very limited grant, and Erase PTSD had applied over the years, and finally this year we were the lucky recipients, and that scratch-off lottery grant is able to provide treatment. Unfortunately, that's not covered by insurance just yet. It's covered by insurance for pain modalities, but unfortunately has not recognized this as a treatment for PTSD just yet, despite the significant research and available information on the effectiveness. This scratch-off is now able to provide treatment to a minimum of 30 Illinois veterans who are interested in having treatment.
It's a big deal, and the effects have been tested, proven, and I know it seems like we're asking you all for money all the time, but we bring up these vetted efforts that really do help people. So if people are financially able, how do they contribute?
By going to the Erase PTSD Now, which is the nonprofit organization that receives money for veterans, but also for other people. Trauma isn't isolated to just veterans, and Erase PTSD Now often receives grants from certain organizations to treat certain populations, and sometimes people will donate just after having such amazing results for themselves and realize there's many people who can't afford to do it. So they will, whether it's $100 or enough to cover treatment, no amount is too small, but it's there for anybody to apply and receive grants as needed.
Stella, a clinic whose flagship location in Westmount is one of these go-to clinics, probably the go-to clinic in the country for this. The first paper on the stellate ganglion block came from there by your co-founder. Look, if it's $1,600 to $3,600, that's a lot of money, and hopefully insurance will get on board of this today. But until they do, we really do need your help. And continuing to support the Veterans Cash Scratch-Off Lottery Grant, I assume, Doctor, would help other organizations, right?
Absolutely. And, the funds that are raised by this particular scratch-off serve many, many purposes. And so sometimes there's physical injuries, mental health injuries, educational, all sorts of different avenues can be funded by these scratch-off tickets. And so for me, if you're spending the money on a ticket, you might as well put it into a fund that can give back and does give back. We've seen that through our organization, Erase PTSD, and now we're providing a minimum of 30 treatments for our veterans.
Well, we thank you for the work you're doing and everybody at the clinic there, but this is something that's very early in regards to getting to all the people it needs to get to, but it's not early anymore for the ganglion block. This has been tested and studied. We know it works.
Yes, and we're so excited to share this information, knowing that we're right here in Westmont, and we've treated over 8,000 people since 2020, when we first opened up our first kind of business partnership. Dr. Lipov has been doing this work for a really long time, but in 2020, we finally organized into an actual company setting so that we could work hard to bring it to many more people in an organized way.
Thank you again. And for information for people that want to look into this, do they go to their regular doctor or who do they talk to?
They can go to their regular doctor, but if they want to find information directly, they can go to stellate.com and find information there. If they're looking for information on the actual grant, they will reach out to eraseptsdnow.org. But you can talk to your psychiatrist, your therapist. We provide screening directly, so you don't have to have a doctor that refers you directly. You'll meet with one of our mental health experts, and we'll go through the different types of treatment that are available through the Stellate Center, including the advanced stellate ganglion block. But we also provide ketamine treatment, which is covered by the VA. We're contracted with the VA here in the Great Lakes region, and we also offer TMS and some other services. So we really want to match what we have to the patient's need. This grant just happens to be specifically for the stellate ganglion block.
I appreciate your time. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's Dr. Karen DeCocker. Thanks to Andrea for the lead on that story. The stellate ganglion block is what it's called.
And also go buy a veteran scratch-off ticket because you can then help fund other grants.
Yep.